Well, guys, I'm back on the 1860 homestead. They're doing and period, giving tours, period clothing and everything. And this lady was gracious enough to let me film her on YouTube. So here we're coming in. What is this? The kitchen?
This is the kitchen of the Trobaugh Good House. And this was built as a log house prior to 1860, but we show it as 1860 because the census tells us how many animals they had, and 11 people ate and slept in this one kitchen.
Oh boy.
This was the total.
It was called a log home and not a cabin, wasn't it?
Right.
Because it was hewn logs, squared off.
There was no fireplace.
No.
There's actually a wooden floor.
Uh-huh.
And the children of the family would be busy getting water and filling the wood box. And there are beautiful stove and the
yes, it is.
On the stove. Now, nothing to the house is nothing in the house is original to the house, but it is what Mrs. Trobaugh could have had in 1860.
Uh-huh. There's some of the utensils she used for cooking.
Oh, yes.
There's some gourds over there.
Some gourds, and they could be used for taking drinks outside and drinking gourds. And this is a lard lamp. It would be filled with lard and then lit, and then this would glow like a candle, but it made the ceilings very dark. And this is food preservation before the canning jar. It would have been cooked, put some wax on, but they didn't have any of the screw tops. So they just put cloth.
Did they do any fermentation?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And candles, Mrs. Trobaugh could have made candles, or she could have purchased them.
I know they came from Tennessee, didn't they?
Yes.
Originally. Because I know out in the garden they said, well, they didn't have okra in Illinois. Well, they came from Tennessee.
Right, but up here they must not have brought. Okay, and the dry sink. And the soap Mrs. Trobaugh could have made, or she could have purchased it. And then we can go into
The soap.
well, actually,
This is what their dining room. Parlor.
Yeah, everything was here as far as eating. And this, notice the doorway is much higher. Because this part of the building was built after, when the railroad came through, they could buy millwork and 2x4s and plaster and lab. So, you know, it's built the way our house was. The wallpaper was printed in 1860, and it's something that
That's
Mrs.
neat.
Trobaugh could have had. We don't know what pattern she had.
What patterns you had?
And this is a floor cloth. A man might come on horseback and say, "Ma'am, would you like a new floor cloth?" So she could choose her color.
What's that made out of? Was it originally?
Like a piece of sailcloth.
Oh, okay.
And then painted. Let's see. Oh, this. The Parlor Lamp. Beautiful kerosene lamp.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
like the kind you take camping.
No.
Yeah.
That gave out a little more light, I imagine, for reading.
And then a parlor stove. The parlor would have been Mrs. Trobaugh's pride and joy, because this was a working man's family, not a mansion. So
he was miller, wasn't he? He had a sawmill?
Sawmill, and then he had a bottling plant.
Oh, bottling plant. Yeah, that's where they get Rock Springs from. Yeah.
Right. And then here's the master bedroom. which was a rarity on the prairie because most people did not have their own master bedroom. And this is the way people washed up in the morning. Beautiful chamber pot, and look how lucky Mr. Trobo was. He has 2 pairs of socks. Those are the ones he wore yesterday.
Yeah.
And
wash them out and hang them up to dry.
No, they didn't wash them. They just aired them out.
Aired them out. Okay. Were they wool or, I wonder?
Probably cotton. Heavy cotton.
Heavy cotton.
Maybe wool in the winter. And let's see.
Do you know if they had any livestock?
I do not know, but the census would tell you. And this we interpret as Grandma's room. She may have slept here with her 2 granddaughters. Because 3 people in a bed was probably customary, or 4 or 5 children sideways. And
Do you have to remember what room this is?
Kind of like camping.
yeah. And she could have made her ink from berries and stuff, or she could have purchased it. And the children, the boys would learn to carve and the girls would learn to sew. So this would be a Christmas present, maybe the only present the child would get. And let's see, now we will go, you'll have to duck in it.
Have to duck under this. So say I'm 5'10" and I'd hit my head there. Yeah, this is
shows you that it was
as
a log house.
Okay, they left that. That's what it originally looked like.
That they
hewn the logs, squared them up, so they weren't.
They didn't, because they had enough money, they could build a lean-to, so they didn't side this.
What's this up here hanging?
That's a quilt rack.
Oh, okay.
That would have been a very wide quilt.
Well, I guess.
Yeah. And here's how you would shave in the morning. You would get some hot water from the stove and put it in here, and then take this razor blade and shave your beard.
I think I'd be too nervous to use that.
Right. And this, you know, the old saying, good night, sleep tight.
Sleep tight, tighten up.
That meant they would have to take a stick and put it in these and then wind it so the ropes would be nice and tight.
Nice and tight, and it wouldn't sag to the floor.
Don't let the bed bugs bite. It would be this. Suppose you were here, Grandpa was here, and your brother was here, and you had to hold on in order not to fall out. Grandpa rolled over, that would bite your hand. So those pegs would be bed bugs.
The bed bugs.
And here's a trundle bed.
Oh, okay.
2 workers from the bottling plant stayed in that. And then a married couple up here, they were trying to save money so they could build a house on their property. Very interesting. Clothespin.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
And of course the washboard.
Now that is homemade.
Oh yes, we know that. And the washboard.
No washboard, yeah.
All we need is a bar of soap there. And the dinner bell. And
what, this is a game table here? Okay, yeah, checkers and
they could have used a little corn cob rounds for the checkers. There aren't any now, but there used to be some corn cob checkers.
Yeah.
And the trunk, a boarder might come and everything he owned would be in that trunk.
Huh.
Because people just did not have a lot of possessions.
Yeah, pretty.
When you were asked to clean up, you didn't have a big job because you didn't have much.
No. Well, okay. Been about in every room. What's this? Oh, we was in this room,
Yeah.
wasn't we? Okay.
So this is it.
Look at the size of that cast iron skillet. What
Yeah.
number is that, I wonder? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I got one about that size. I fried chicken in it.
Here, I'll let you out this door, and then you can look at the herb gardens.
They're out there playing the old games from... I'll go out the front door.
Okay, yeah, you could just go out.
All right, thank you very much.
But a lot of times, Michael, what they did is they
Slow cook stove. I'd like to have
I
that
had extra eggs, I might.
one. Not a rocket stove mass heater, but boy, I'd like to have that.
And so they didn't, sometimes they didn't do money, or I would come and work.
Well, that's about all I got for this one, guys.
There were 11 people.
We'll go out and look at the garden on another one.
Orders.